Jean Piaget is a Swiss psychologist known for his work on child development. These here on our left is Piaget's stages of cognitive development, which includes 4 different stages. Our first being sensory motor stage. This occurs in starting from birth to 2 years old. This is when the baby understands world through senses and actions. Senses, sensory, and motor actions. In sensory motor stage, there is object permanence. So object permanence is when someone understands that objects continue to exist even if they're not seen. So, for example, you give a baby a ball, but then 5 minutes later, you put a blanket over that ball. Although the baby can't see the ball, the baby still knows that the ball exists despite it being covered. However, that happens around 8 months. Also, within stage 1, schemas develop. So schemas are basic frameworks for understanding the world. Another key milestone is self-recognition. As they hear, the child realizes that other people are separate from them. The third key milestone is deferred imitation. This is when the baby will observe someone and then copy them later. Next is representational play. Children will use objects or actions to represent something else. In the big picture, in stage 1, sensory motor, the world is understood through senses and actions, hence sensory motor. Next, we have stage 2. In stage 2, it's known as pre-operational development. A very important concept to understand in stage 2 is egocentrism. Egocentrism is the difficulty of seeing from another's perspective. However, this declines later on in stage. So I like to think that from 2 to 7, this child is very selfish. And they have a hard time looking at what other people are feeling. So they're not emotionally intelligent yet. Another thing to understand is that they're also doing role play, symbolic play, storytelling, imagination. So this is when they start being really creative. Another is class inclusion difficulty. So class inclusion difficulty refers to the struggle to classify objects into multiple categories at once. So Piaget demonstrates that children in the pre-operational stage of intellectual development have difficulty answering questions like, are there more blue cars or more cars? Because they're unable to understand class inclusion. Or, for example, are there more cats or are there more animals here? Because they don't understand that cats are animals or cats are also cats. Next, we have here a third stage, which is concrete operational. Concrete operational has to deal with conservation. This is the understanding that quantity stays the same despite changes in shape or appearance. That's why I've said here, same volume, same mass, and number, even if the form or appearance changes. So let's say they have 2 cups of different sizes. If water was added here, and then that same water was added in this cup and it fills it up, it knows that there's still the same amount of water. It's just that it seems as if there's more here because the cup is actually smaller. So that is conservation. Next, another key milestone in concrete operational is less egocentric. So this is when, from the age of 7 to 11, the kid starts to understand other people's perspective. They can also start to reason logically about concrete objects, events, but they still struggle with abstract ideas. So the big picture in stage 3 is that they're logical, but concrete reasoning is developing. Next, fourth stage is formal operational stage. This is age 11 through adulthood. Some books might even say 12 plus. This is when this child or adult can deal with abstract ideas and they start to be able to think hypothetical. So for example, They no longer need physical props like looking at cake slices just to understand fractions. They're even able to argue, reason through multiple possibilities, and think scientifically. The big picture here is that they start they start to think abstract, logical, and hypothetical reasoning starts to develop here. Informal operational. So once again, sensory motor, main thing is object permanence. Pre-operational is egocentrism, pretend play, symbolic thought. Concrete operational conservation, logical reasoning about concrete objects. And fourth, formal operational, abstract reasoning, and hypotheticals. So, a hack that I've also saw, by the way, I saw this funny thing on TikTok actually to remember it. So, SPCF. Starbucks puts coffee first. This way, I've remembered this and I've actually never been able to forget it. So that's a little hack.